Prophet ﷺ said, whoever calls to nationalism, to tribalism, is not of us, not a true Muslim. So Allah puts it on the same level. There is nothing special about people's colors because it exists everywhere. In fact, it is all from the greatness of Allah's creation.
Subhanallah, 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 Subhanaka Rabbi, Subhanak, Subhanaka ma a'zama shanak, Subhanaka Rabbi, Subhanak, Subhanaka.
What we find is a variety of examples when we look at the great scholars of Islam. Those who studied under the companions of the Prophet, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, known as the Tabi'un. Many of them were former slaves who were black. Slaves from varying other backgrounds, non-Arabs. And they were narrators of the traditions of the Prophet ﷺ. They were the teachers of Abu Hanifa, the teachers of Imam Malik, the teachers of Ahmad ibn Hanbal and Ash-Shafi'i, the great scholars of Islam. They were their teachers. And they were their students. And on down through the generations. And this is how Islam has been. It showed practically that there really is no superiority based on color or race. The leading narrators, compilers of hadith were non-Arabs. Ibn Majah, An-Nasa'i, Al-Bukhari, and so on and so forth were non-Arabs. And this has been the tradition. And we can find in our times people seeing that and being moved by that to become Muslims. For example, in the statements of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, formerly known as Cassius Clay, the boxer from America. He said, the pilgrimage to Mecca was an exhilarating experience to see people belonging to different colors, races, and nationalities. Kings, heads of states, and ordinary men from very poor countries, all clad in two simple white sheets, praying to God without any sense of either pride or inferiority. It was a practical manifestation of the concept of equality in Islam. A concept amongst Muslims, especially in the subcontinent, regarding people who are given the label of Sayyid, with the claim that they are descendants of Prophet Muhammad's family. This is the claim. Of course, any such claim, first and foremost, we say, must be supported by evidence. Please trace your ancestry right back to the Prophet ﷺ for me. Most of these people, in fact, 99.99% of these people cannot do that. The idea that only Sayyids marry Sayyids, that is also false. Even if we accept them as being from the family of the Prophet, descendants of the Prophet's family, the idea that they only marry amongst each other, that is false. Islam doesn't support that at all. That is tribalism. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ said, Man da'a ila al-asabiyya falaysa minna. Whoever calls to tribalism, to only my family, is not of us. So even the practice among some Muslims today in ignorance, where they say you cannot marry outside of our family. You know, as an Indian you can't marry a Pakistani. Or even within, from Hyderabad, you can't marry people from Tamil Nadu. You know, this is nonsense. This is completely outside of Islam. Islam is innocent from these kinds of beliefs and ideas. Completely false. There are people who are from the family of the Prophet. May God's peace and blessings be upon him. Among his very uncles, who Allah said are people of hell. among his own uncles, much closer to him than any of the Sayyids today could possibly be, are people who have been designated as people of hell. So what does that tell us? Being a relative of the Prophet has no value. Before God, it has no value. You can be a disbeliever or a disbeliever, and truly this is what happened. So this practice or this belief is a part of the ignorance of Muslims. As Muslims drift away from the Islamic teachings, then these kind of racialist, tribalist, nationalistic feelings and ideas arise. This has historically been the way. When Islam is strong, the teachings are well known, people know it, then these feelings go down. They're satanic. No, as I gave the example from Iblis, Satan, refusing to bow and his claim, know that the origin of racism is from Satan. It is a satanic belief. And tribalism is satanic. Human beings are one.
These are the signs which Allah left amongst us to remind us that we are one human race. And as such, God revealed to that human race one religion. He did not reveal a bunch of different religions, thereby confusing human beings. No, He only revealed one religion. Human beings changed it, and He would send more prophets. And they would change it again, and He would send more prophets. But all the time, it was one message. As Allah said, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنْ يَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. I've sent to every nation, to every people, a messenger, calling them to worship Allah alone and to avoid the worship of false gods. One God, one human race, one religion, Islam. That is the message that I wanted to share with you tonight. Knowledge of who our Lord is takes us ultimately to knowledge of Islam. So as we need to go back and understand who our Lord is by reading the Quran. Ramadan is around the corner, and it's the month dedicated to the Quran. As Allah explained, it was the month in which the Quran was revealed. So we dedicate our time to reading the Quran, but we should read it with understanding. Read it and reflect on its meanings, not read it as a ritual, so that we fall into the category about which Allah said, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Will they not reflect on the meanings of the Quran, or are their hearts locked up, sealed? Let us not be among those with sealed hearts in this month of Ramadan before us. Let us open our hearts to the Quran and read it with understanding and come to know who our Lord is. Because at least a third of the Quran is dedicated to explaining who is our Lord. And that is why Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Ikhlas, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. This surah, this chapter, as small as it is, the Prophet ﷺ said, one who reads it has read a third of the Quran. Because that surah is dedicated to explaining who our Lord is. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Say, He is Allah, the uniquely one. Allahu Samad, the one who depends on nothing and all depends on him. Lam yalid, he does not give birth. Walam yulad, nor was he born. Walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad, and there is nothing similar to him.
ندعوك ونرجو